Hello and welcome to Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast. All right, here we are sitting at Enter Solar San Diego, staying classy, and we have the classiest of classy Camerons here. His name is Cameron Feary, and we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. And so I was trying to think about what to talk about, and I was thinking, like, we could make fun of you for being from New York or something like that, but let's make fun of your age. Like, you're kind of like the younger side of people that are like doing the smart stuff, like in the solar industry. So you're like designing systems and all that kind of stuff. So I was thinking about, like, what's your generation? Are you a millennial or an alpha?
I'm born in 92.
Oh.
So I guess I'm a millennial.
All right. So you're born in 1992. And a lot of people like doing design and all that kind of stuff are older than you. So like, I was thinking, like, what can we do to make solar exciting for younger people? Like, could we like make it, I don't know, like make it more fun, make it like video games about it, or like, what do you think?
Well, for me, I'm excited by the business opportunity. I'm excited by where I see other people missing opportunities in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Those things excite me. So I think also having this feeling like people aren't fully like squeezing the juice out of the lemon, and that there's some purpose for me to be here. Mm-hmm. So I'm also motivated by investing in my community or my world. So like when I have kids or when I have a family, it's going to be a better place for them. So those are some of the things that I get motivated about. Uh-huh. I imagine other people would also be motivated by those things, by financial opportunity, by health opportunity for their families, for any of those.
Like making the world a better place.
I mean, I don't know if people are that motivated by making the world a better place, but I think they're motivated by how it could serve their family, serve their immediate friends, serve the people they know. I think as it gets more abstract, maybe it's less universally.
But I guess like somebody in the coal industry could say the same thing. I guess they could be like, oh yeah, I'm making this money so I could serve my family, sacrificing my lungs for the kids,
Yeah.
Like, how come you didn't get into coal?
Yeah, I mean, if coal mining was on the moon, then maybe there wouldn't be any negative impacts to air quality.
Because if you don't have any air, that's interesting. It might make the moon hard to see because it would be full of soot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would be kind of hard to burn the coal up there too.
Yeah, I think since we're on Earth, that's the
I know, isn't that
condition.
A drag being on Earth, and then like you have an atmosphere to pollute and all that stuff? It'd be so much nicer if we didn't have an atmosphere.
Yeah, we're both making energy, and in one case, I am led to believe that we're making better air quality, we're improving air quality, and decreasing pollution.
Yeah.
So those things motivate me as it pertains to health.
So you live in New York, and it's a lot older than the West Coast, and you probably see people like in these old houses. Do you see like coal infrastructure, like coal furnaces?
I'd
like
say that. I see refineries but
you don't see like somebody's old house and you're like, what's that in the basement? And it's like something for burning coal, something like that, like to stay warm.
Oil is common.
Yeah, I mean just like old infrastructure that people don't still use.
I think oil furnaces are somewhat common in that region.
Like heating oil for like today, people are using it.
Or they're phasing them out. In my parents' house, we removed the propane heating system and installed heat pumps. So
yeah, I remember when I lived in Southeast Alaska, it was pretty common for people to have heating oil. And so they have just like a big old tank on the side of their house, and then the heating oil guy comes and fills it up, and then that goes to your furnace and heats up your house. And when you're that cold, I guess you're just like not thinking as much about the air as like staying warm.
Yeah.
I wonder what would be worse for you, freezing to death or polluting yourself to death?
Whatever one takes longer to kill you.
Yeah, and it would be kind of tricky to, like, say you're in some place that's far north and you have like winter time and all that kind of stuff where it's really dark. how to use solar to keep yourself warm. I guess they do it in Scandinavia. They have like really, really good insulation.
Yeah, I mean, there's also radiant heating and it's not actually photovoltaic solar. That's another way.
I think actually too, New York is the greenest place in the country. Like as far as, I'm not sure if it's New York City or probably New York City is where it's coming from. Because when you have these tall buildings, then you have like one side that faces the environment, and then you have, let's just call it a cube. Then there's the other 5 sides of the cube are facing somebody else's apartment or a hallway or some place that's like interior that's already heated. So it's a lot more energy efficient that way.
Yeah, the consumption of each person in New York City is lower, mainly because of the density.
Yeah, so you have that, and then I guess you have like transportation and the subway and all that. So yeah, so per person, it's the greenest place. Even though you guys are, some of these places are burning oil, radiant heating and all that kind of stuff.
The infrastructure for New York City is on the higher end of complexity as far as places to live go. I mean, you hear about the bridges that have been built in New York City, or the heating that's beneath the streets, the steam coming out.
So what do you mean, like heating, like to heat up the streets to melt the ice, or what?
There's shared steam lines between buildings.
Oh, the buildings share the heat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's waste heat that's redirected to buildings from other sorts of generation.
Okay, so there's no waste, yeah.
Or there's
little waste, less waste. Yeah.
There's different methods they've come up with to improve efficiency.
What was really weird is I was in Dubai and I was hanging out with this Dubai engineer, and I looked out my window and I was like, what is that? Some like natural gas power plant? He's like, no, that's a giant chiller. And so they, like the Burj Khalifa, the biggest building in the world, doesn't have air conditioners on it. It has like, there's all these big buildings have these like chiller buildings that are like big buildings and just not as big as the big buildings. And then they send cold water, I think he said it was 2 degrees Celsius, in through pipes to cool the building off. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so do they do any of that in New York that you know about?
Well, they have, at least on a smaller scale, buildings will have cooled water pumped through them to versus having individual air conditioners on each floor.
We interrupt you for a very important announcement. Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast has been brought to you by Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast. That's right, Sean White is sponsoring his own podcast, and he wants to remind you to go check out some of his classes. You can go to SolarSEAN, that's Solar, SEAN.com, and then click on the links to check out his classes. You can check out his heat spring classes, and you can also hire him to teach classes for you, like at your company, something like that. Now back to the show.
And so what do you see for solar inside the city? So there's very limited space. I mean, you get these stupid Empire State Buildings in the way of the sunshine, blocking your sun. So solar's getting cheaper. I guess you could like put it in places where there are lots of shadows and things like that. There's racking systems that you can put up on the roof that go over the air conditioners and all that kind of stuff. Are you seeing much in the city?
Probably 1/3 of the jobs I do have some kind of specialty racking, and that's more of a structural project than your typical solar installation. So I find those pretty interesting. There's more structural design to do, and I think it leads itself to a more niche market. So I have less competition.
Right. Yeah. And so you being in New York City and all that, when you're designing projects, are they for the city more or the surrounding area? Because I know you have a place, I think you're both in Westchester County, which is right next to the city, the lowest upstate place you can be in New York, and then you're in Chelsea.
Yeah.
So there's more of your business in the city, like Chelsea being in Manhattan, or in, upstate, or Jersey or something like that.
90% or 80% of my jobs are in Queens, Brooklyn, or Staten Island.
Okay, so just like not
outer boroughs.
Yeah, the outer boroughs, so not Manhattan. And I guess there's a little bit more room there than Manhattan.
And there are primarily flat roofs. So it's a specialized installation that one would need to learn how to do versus a typical pitched roof. So,
And when you say like the flat roof, are you talking residential, commercial?
they're very similar. They're commercial flat roofs.
So you're doing a lot of commercial flat roofs.
Right
outer
now,
boroughs.
I'm at probably 30% commercial, 70% residential.
Okay. And so the residential flat roofs how big is a residential flat roof system that you're typically doing with? Are people sharing the solar array with like different tenants, or how does that work?
There's different ways to do it. One way is to set up a system for each meter, and there's more optimization with that, meaning that you can harvest more and get more value from the electricity produced. Alternatively, with a commercial system, you can remote net credit to those different meters, but you're not able to offset the demand on those meters.
I've got a friend in Germany that works for a company, and they can take a single PV system, and with their technology, they can feed it to multiple meters. So they can kind of like split up that inverter output circuit and have it go to different meters, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful for application for New York City.
Okay. I'll introduce you guys. Yeah.
New York City has tougher regulations. I think it's famously considered the hardest place to install a battery.
Did they change the version of the code that they're doing?
Yeah.
Like they were on the 2008 NEC in New York City up until like 2025. And so
Up until December
yeah. And so what did they skip to from 2008?
2020.
2020.
But they have special variances on the 2020 code.
Yeah. So I think they always do that. They have like tons of amendments or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's quite a jump. Is that difficult for you being a designer, or do more things stay the same because there's so many amendments that you were kind of already there anyway with it?
It depends on the inspector.
Like, so with 2008 NEC, like a couple of code cycles from rapid shutdown, but I think you had to do rapid shutdown, right? So there was like an amendment. So it seems like they're adopting things that are on the newer codes, even though they say they're on 2008. So that's like 2020 minus 2008 is 12, right? Is it still 12?
I think it jumped up to 2011 at some point in there, maybe 2014.
And I remember last year, and I don't know if it's still that way, that Indiana was on the 2008 NEC. I think it was just like Indiana and New York City. But you said that you thought they jumped to 2011 at some point in there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Optimism. Once you have optimism, everything works out.
Well, cool. I have to go judge the solar games, and I'm going to go like find out who I'm judging and see if I can work on some bribes. Do you think that would be a good idea?
I think
There's a lot of bookies down there. It's on all those betting websites,
I think there's any kind of networking you want to do, it's a good place to do it.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to go judge the solar games right now. That'll be a lot of fun. There's different teams that compete, and they have to do solar installations fast, and they have to not make mistakes, and they have to do things like, comply with the OSHA rules and the fall protection. So thanks so much, Cameron Feary. And where do people find you?
Indentbuilders.com.
Indentbuilders.com, and you can get Cameron designing systems for you over there in New York.
Yeah.
So cool. Over and out. Woo! Say woo!
Woo.